How effective is your local police force, in particular their effectiveness in investigating crime, responding to the public, and how quickly officers are dispatched? Well, someone who has recently come up with a plan for their area is Conservative London mayoral candidate Susan Hall, I'm delighted to say now, joins me in the studio. Susan, welcome to the show.
Thank
Always
you.
A pleasure. So you have a plan you're launching today of a return to community-based policing. Tell us about that.
Well, Londoners deserve to feel safe, you know that, and I'm starting off with knife arches in schools. I'm hoping, as you know, to be mayor after May the 2nd, and it's looking very, very good. So the one thing we've got to get a grip of is policing in London.
Yeah.
So many parents have said to me they're concerned because in their kids' schools there are knives. I mean, can you believe it?
I can.
So, yeah, I know, and we've got to do something about it. We've got to get to grips with this. So I've found a fund of £7 million that schools can bid into to actually get knife arches in their schools.
On the one hand, Susan, it's great news that you're doing this. On the other hand, it's a terrible indictment on modern London and modern Britain that we even have to do this in the first place. We've done reports on this channel, I've done them in the past, about weapons in schools and the terrible pressures that teachers are facing. How do you get inside the mindset, as well as the detection? How do you just stamp knife crime out in London? It's going to be a huge issue for you in the mayoral race.
It's a huge issue, but we've got to get to grip with it. And I intend to. I've got to already found £200 million to go into policing. And quite frankly, whatever the police need, we've got to find that money. Sadiq Khan can magic up over £500 million in the last month in order to buy votes, quite frankly. There is money within his £21 billion budget that we can find. Because Sadiq Khan is, you know this, he just doesn't listen to us. We've had 8 years of him not listening to us. I'm listening to people, and loud and clear on doorsteps, it's sort crime out in London.
One of the issues, Susan, is closing down cop shops. So the amount of police stations in London, I've lived here 28 years, I've seen 2 local to me shut down. You create crime hotspots because the response time is 45, 50 minutes to the ones in the middle. But we've lost 75% of police stations in London since 2010. And that includes when Boris Johnson was mayor and when Sadiq Khan was mayor. How do you turn that around? Or do you want to reopen police stations, buy them back, get more cop shops? What's your plan?
My plan is to bring back borough-based policing. At the moment, they're in what they call BCUs, which is a basic command unit, that looks after 3 or 4 boroughs at once. That's not good enough. We've got to go back to basics. We've got to go back to common sense, borough-based policing, more police officers on our streets. And of course, that will mean where we can afford to, we need to open these stations up again so that they can work from an area that is very near to the places that they're supposed to be parading in.
And it's not just a London-based issue, this, the selling off of police stations, public assets, often to private property developers, is a national disgrace. But doing this in London is going to be really expensive. As I said, 2 near me, they were sold off for like £1 million a pop. Well, they're now flats worth 4 or 5 million. So to buy those things back and to convert them is going to be an expensive job.
It is, but you can't put a price on safety. And if we look at it, since Sadiq Khan has been in charge, over 1,000 murders. Over 1,000. We've got to get to grips with this. All of us want our families to be safe. I'm sure you want your kids to be safe in school, so we've got to start off by getting the knives out of school. We've got to increase stop and search. There's lots of things we need to do. I don't know how much money will be left by the time Sadiq Khan is finished with his giveaways at the moment, but where there is money there, I will make sure that it goes to policing to make Londoners safe. It's vital.
But the Mayor of London is the de facto Police and Crime Commissioner, so presumably the Mayor of London could put a request into central government for more money.
Oh, he does that all the time.
No, I'm talking about if you were Mayor.
Oh, yes, of course. My priority would be policing. We've got to feel safe. Sadiq Khan, and I'm glad you mentioned that, so many people don't understand that the Mayor of London is also the Police and Crime Commissioner, therefore in charge of the Metropolitan Police. Sadiq Khan is letting all of us down. I absolutely will not. I'm listening to Londoners. They want to feel safer. So where we can, we'll open up stations. We need to have far more police on our streets. And I will support the police in looking after the rest of us.
But it is worth pointing out, just for the interest of balance, that the police stations were closed in the previous mayoralty of Boris Johnson as well. It has been a long-term downward decline of selling off these assets. And thugs aren't silly. Now, they know that they can fill crime hotspots or create crime hotspots if there are no police stations. So community-based policing, what is that, small hubs of 2 or 3 police? What will all this cost?
We need far more of the hubs open. I need to take a look at it when I'm in charge, because quite frankly, at the moment, we get thrown bits of pieces of finance. Is very difficult to see. Also, Sadiq Khan, as I just mentioned, has spent over £633 million in the last month with freezing fares on the tube, etc. So we'll have to see what money's left. But where there's a will, there's a way. There's an awful lot of money wasted in City Hall. I will put a stop to that.
And you want to get rid of ULEZ in its latest expansion, but you don't want to get rid of ULEZ where it currently is. Why not?
I will get rid of the ULEZ expansion on day one, I've promised that, and I will not bring in London Paper Mile. But at the moment, I'm particularly talking about policing, because that's what Londoners are talking to me about.
OK, Susan Hall, thank you very much for joining us.